Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the final session of today's Education-Led Growth Summit. If you've joined us earlier in the day, thank you so much for staying on for the entire sessions. I hope that you've at least taken one thing away from one of the sessions that you've attended, and I can guarantee you're going to take something away from this session. My name is Audrey. You've heard from me earlier today if you've joined us, and I will be your host for this session. We will be talking all about how nCino is scaling through training and certifications. So really excited to introduce you to our speakers for today. But before we get started, I do want to cover off some housekeeping items, very important things. First and foremost, this webinar is being recorded. So your recording will be sent to your inbox at the end of the session. So if you want to listen back or share it with somebody, that will be in your inbox. So no worries there. If you need closed captions, that is available to you at the bottom of the screen. You'll find the icon on the bottom of the Zoom screen. And the chat is live, and we want to hear from you. So please let us know where you're tuning in from, or share excitement or questions throughout the session. The questions, however, we'd love for you to direct into the Q&A box. So the chat is for chatter. The Q&A box will be for your questions, and we'll have time at the end to address those. And finally, we do want to hear your comments, and we hope that you'll share them on LinkedIn. So if you do choose to make any comments about today's sessions or the overall summit, we'd love for you to use the hashtag education-led-growth-2025 and tag Intellum, because we want to be able to respond and interact with you online. Okay, with that is a lot of housekeeping. I'm going to turn it over to my friends at nCino, Jennifer and Alex, who are going to walk us through their presentation for this afternoon.
Thank you, Audrey. Hi, everyone. I am Jennifer Adams, and we would like to call this our training transformation story. I'm the Director of Global Learning and Enablement here at nCino, and I've been with the company since 2013, coming off of a 17-year banking career at SunTrust. And so I've watched us evolve here at nCino from just traditional classroom training up to this sophisticated learning ecosystem that we have at nCino today.
And hey everyone, I'm Alex Driggs. Sorry in advance, Jennifer and I actually are in the same room together, and so we have my mic muted and we'll be using hers. But I've been with nCino since 2021. I started here as an intern with the Learning Enablement team, and I've had the privilege of serving as our admin for both our previous LMS and then Intellum as full-time employee, and was actually the one that built out both our internal and external instances. Today, Jennifer and I are going to take you behind the scenes of how we built our training infrastructure that serves thousands of users across multiple audiences and integrates with multiple systems, delivering measurable results.
Yeah, so you see on the slide, we kind of broke this into 4 different segments. So we're going to run through those segments, and then we've left plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So like Audrey said, put your questions in the Q&A function in Zoom, and we will get to those at the end of our webinar. So before we jump in, Audrey mentioned, and Alex and I, as we introduced ourselves, that we work at a company in Wilmington, North Carolina called nCino. And like Alex said, we're in the same room together, and we actually have a picture behind us on the screen of Wrightsville Beach, which is about a mile from us. So we do live in a beach town in coastal North Carolina, but a lot of people are like, what is nCino? So I wanted to put this slide up and give you a little bit of information. So at nCino, we started as the pioneer of cloud banking back in 2012, and now we're powering a new era in financial services with data and intelligence. We provide comprehensive software solutions that help financial institutions modernize their operations, everything from loan origination and account opening to portfolio management and compliance. What makes our training challenge unique is that we have 3 distinct audiences for our learning management system. Our internal employees, who need to understand and sell our complex banking technology, our customers, the financial institutions who use our platform every day, and our implementation partners who help deploy our solutions. And all of this product knowledge covers across both functional and technical skills that we're trying to enable these audiences with. Each of these audience has different learning needs, different technical backgrounds, different business objectives. This diversity is what drove us to build the scalable, integrated training approach we'll be sharing with you today. So let me start with segment 1, which we like to call building from the inside out. When we redesigned our training and certification platform with Intellum, we could have launched everything to everybody at once, but we deliberately chose a phased approach that began with our employees, then we extended to our customers and partners, and eventually in the future, we'd like to scale that to an even broader audience outside of our ecosystem. Again, working from the inside out. When we did our internal employee launch, which was just over a year ago in August of 2024, I had employees here in Wilmington, North Carolina at our headquarters stop me in the hallway and say, thank you. Thank you for launching this to us first. By launching to our employees prior to our customers and partners, this approach allowed our employees to truly understand our learning technology and our new certification program prior to our clients and our partners, so they could better support us during our phase 2 launch, which was earlier this year in May. As you can see on the slide, our internal employee platform, which is shown on the top, is called Level Up. So at nCino, we kind of have this up branding for all of our internal enablement. When our new hires start at nCino, we call it Ramp Up, which you're going to see a little bit later. When our managers complete annual reviews, we call that Measure Up. So to us internally as nCino employees, the Intellum platform is called Level Up. And then on the other slide on the bottom right, our customers and partners actually access our LMS using single sign-on from our nCino user community. And we call that University, or nCino University Online. The other thing that I think is really unique that we were able to do for our employees, if you look back at the top image again, you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner of that Level Up screenshot, we have a way for our employees to launch into that nCino University experience. So as an employee, I can toggle and see what it actually looks like for our customers and partners, because obviously they won't have all the same internal stuff that like Alex and I have. And we all share the same partner or product content with our customers and partners. So sometimes we need to see what their view looks like, or even grab like a specific hyperlink that would be the external link and not the internal link. So like I mentioned, we also have some visions to maybe scale these capabilities to a broader market with an external ecosystem launch in 2026. This would include prospects evaluating the nCino platform, industry consultants, maybe technical resources that just want to add nCino knowledge and skills to their resume. So Alex, can you share how this phased approach really impacted you with our technical implementation?
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to launch it to our employees first was really nice as like the admin of the system, being able to kind of learn it as we go. There's not as much pressure to launch it to our employees, but we really got a strong grasp on how we wanted to organize content, how we wanted to build integrations for our users. And we were able to establish a baseline for metrics and dashboards before introducing the platform to our external audience. The internal first approach also provided us with invaluable feedback from our own employees. We were able to identify pain points and make meaningful improvements to the navigation. For one instance, we have our certifications program that we'll touch on later, but we had kind of always organized it in a specific way that we thought made sense. And we got some feedback from internal users that what didn't fully make sense. And we were able to reshuffle that and rebuild that before we went live externally. And now it's really easy to access and our content for our certifications program. Essentially, our employees became like beta testers almost, helping us refine the platform and something that we could confidently roll out to our external stakeholders.
All right, so the second thing we want to talk about is how automation meets personalization. To me, this is where the real magic starts happening with these strategic integrations that we have. And I want to just hit on first, our integration with Workday was an absolute game changer for employee learning. So I've been at nCino for 12 years, like I mentioned. This is the third LMS that we've been through here. And prior to this, our LMS platforms were really designed for external audiences, right? Majority product knowledge. And we just made it work for employees. But now, not only did we launch to those employees first, but we gave them such an upgraded experience. Managers can access hierarchy views that come in from Workday to see their team's completion reports and assign courses directly to their employees. New hires get a completely different experience when a customized homepage is designed specifically to help them ramp up, which meets their unique onboarding needs. We've also revolutionized our instructor-led training events. All of our paid training events for customers and partners now happen entirely in Intellum. They register, pay, and we deliver the training all within the platform. Before, we were struggling with a combination of using Zoom to deliver remote training, a platform called Cvent for registration, and PayPal for payments. It really was a big logistical pain point for my team to reconcile and manage all of this. And lastly, our certification program. It is completely streamlined now. Candidates can learn, study, and launch their exams all in one page within Intellum. We're using online proctoring through HonorLock integration, which means no more scheduling certification exam headaches or having to get special admin or technology hardware permissions on your device. So Alex, can you dive deeper into how these integrations actually work from a technical perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. These integrations were extremely key for our Intellum instance. The Workday integration, like Jennifer mentioned, allowed us to bring in many user fields for our employees. And that allows us to recommend content for specific departments or even assign onboarding to users in their first 30, 60, 90 days. We were able to use the out-of-the-box SFTP integration that Intellum provides for Workday. And then another thing is we've actually, because of the Salesforce integration that Intellum provides, we were able to send our certification data for our employees back to Workday, and we were able to display when our nCino employees get certifications on their Workday profile. So those two kind of go back and forth with each other, which is really cool to see. And then, like she mentioned, we were able to implement HonorLock and e-commerce integrations to enhance our certification program. Those have been very huge because, like she mentioned, they used to live in multiple systems, and having been the admin in all of those systems, it can be very confusing to have to log in here to do this, log in here to do that. Whereas now it all kind of lives in one place, and it's really, really easy for our end users, honestly. And then for our technical training programs, we were able to eliminate Cvent for training, registration, and payment processing by having the e-commerce tool and having events directly in Intellum. And that has been a very streamlined, easy process for end users to be able to purchase certification exams and training events and then attend them or take them directly in the platform. Bringing these programs directly into the LMS has allowed us to present a centralized hub for all training resources to our customers and partners instead of having them access 3 systems. We were also able to better enhance the certification program by using Intellum's simple Credly integration to issue official badges.
All right, so we want to dig into 2 of these integrations a little more because as you see on the screen, integrations is everything. So how does this magic really happen through these integrations? Alex and I, like I mentioned, we want to focus on 2 areas that we've already touched on. The employee experience with our Workday integration we'll dig a little deeper into, and then also how we're using e-commerce within Intellum. So first, the Workday integration provides such incredible personalization for each employee based on their unique profile. And we touched a little bit on this, but it really differentiates that learning experience for new hires versus existing employees, managers versus individual contributors, department by department, geographic region by region, and role by role. As you see some of the images on the screen, on the top image, this is what we call the ramp-up experience that we mentioned earlier. That's our structured 30, 60, 90-day approach, followed by their departmental onboarding and then role-specific training. This isn't just a nice to have. This is a complete transformation of how we're developing our nCino employees. Here's what's revolutionary about this for us. In the past, we couldn't make courses recommended or required at all, let alone customize them based on the unique needs of each employee's department, location, or role. We were essentially delivering a one-size-fits-all training to a very diverse global workforce. So now, if there's an implementation specialist in our London office, they get different compliance training than Alex and I do here at the Wilmington headquarters. A new hire on our sales team gets a totally different learning path than a seasoned customer success manager. The platform knows who they are, where they work, what their role requires, and automatically delivers the right content at the right time. This level of automation and personalization is a way that would have been impossible to manage manually. We're not just training employees, we're developing them strategically based on their individual career paths and business needs.
Yeah, so as Jennifer mentioned, one of the most significant improvements was to our onboarding process, where we completely transformed how it was built. We built out a 30, 60, 90-day onboarding program that seamlessly enrolls new hires into required content from day one. In fact, we actually have it set up where as soon as they get created in the platform, based off the workday data, which is their start date, it sends them a letter, a trigger, and welcomes them to nCino and gives them a link to go start their content. And then we have periodic reminder emails throughout their 30, 60, 90-day journey, recommending content that they need to go take, making sure that they actually complete everything they need to do and that we're keeping in touch with them. Our Workday integration has been a game changer for manager empowerment as well. By bringing in organizational data, we're able to leverage Intellum's manager functionality to clearly define reporting relationships. This empowers managers to directly assign relevant content to their team members and be able to, through reports, track progress in real time. Prior to implementing Intellum, our learning enablement operations team, me and one of my coworkers, mainly pulled all reports for internal and external use cases, and we would distribute them to managers via email or Slack. This Workday data also revolutionized how we handle compliance training. Like you said, we can now assign content based on specific employee attributes and even differentiate training requirements based on geographic location, whether that's by global region or specific state requirements. This level of personalization ensures every employee receives exactly the compliance training they need.
We use personalization too many times because I obviously couldn't say it. All right. And then the last thing we want to dive into a little deeper is e-commerce, right? It's really helping us drive revenue and take some of those pain points away that I mentioned earlier. So before Intellum, we were using so many different methodologies for our training operations. For virtual instructor-led training, like I mentioned, we were using Zoom. Well, it was on one trainer's account, so we were relying solely on that one trainer for information, execution, knowledge, and then payments were also tied to that Zoom account with PayPal. And then I mentioned also we used a platform called Cvent, which is a tool that our marketing team uses for registration and payment for our on-site events. So then that invoice had to be reconciled between all the other events that our marketing team was doing, plus the events we were doing on the training team. This really was like Alex was even talking about with the reports, and he'll dig in a little deeper here. It was a nightmare of spreadsheets and invoices that had to be correlated and reconciled every month with our finance team. And we were also having to promote training in various places with all these different registration links. And it really was operational chaos. So now all that learning happens in one place with one click to register and pay. But here's where it gets really smart from a business perspective. The same platform allows our employees to see and register for events with no payment required, while automatically showing the paid version to our customers and partners. Because for our product training and our certifications, they actually use the same content, but just delivered these different ways like you see on the screen. So I also mentioned that we're looking ahead to do some tiered pricing where we add a third external audience that would pay market rates while our customers and partners would get discounted rates for that same training. It's the same content, same quality, but different value propositions for the different audiences. This also applies to our certification program. We offer paid certifications for customers and partners while we provide free access to employees. We can create AI proctored exams using HonorLock for remote testing, but then we're also able to turn that proctoring off and offer exam rooms where we proctor our certification exams, either for our employees at any of our regional locations or to our customers and partners during any of those paid training events. The result, we moved from all the time sucks in managing training costs to focusing on generating training revenue, all while delivering a better experience for all three of these audiences.
Yeah, so to piggyback off of what Jennifer's talking about, we talked earlier about eliminating multiple systems and having a central hub. And then now Jennifer's mentioned that it was easier on the admin side as well by eliminating those systems, because instead of having to compile reports on revenue, certifications, training registrations in 3 separate systems, and let me tell you, it was multiple spreadsheets every month, and the pain points of not having Salesforce or Workday data in those other systems meant that I then had to pull Salesforce data as another spreadsheet and combine it with the other spreadsheet. It was a mess. Now we have it all in one system with both Salesforce and Workday data flowing into Intellum. We can now track everything in one place. I pull one report at the end of the month. It has all the data we need on Workday data and Salesforce data, and I send that to accounting instead of having to pull 3 spreadsheets, 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, making edits and then sending it. I now send it out as one place. Went from a 3-hour process to a 5-minute process. So huge win for the admin side as well. And that's really just a perfect example of how the right technology and right integrations can create efficiencies across multiple departments.
All right, so in closing, as we wrap it up, I want to reflect on what this journey has taught us. The future of corporate learning isn't just about solving operational challenges and consolidating platforms, which we did. It's about creating connected experiences that generally transform how our employees, customers, and partners engage with our technology and grow their expertise.
Yeah, absolutely. From a tactical standpoint, what excites me most is how these integrations will set us up for what's next. I mean, I feel like with Intellum, with the stuff that they've been talking about today and things that we've already implemented, we're really taking an AI first approach. That's one thing, reason I love HonorLock so much is we went from very manually reviewed exams and proctored exams to AI proctored, where only a handful of our exams get stopped, whereas we had so many exams getting stopped. We're going to try to implement predictive analytics to identify skill gaps going forward before they impact performance, and even more seamless integrations that we might not even know about that Intellum is going to bring our way in the future, because I know that they offer so much.
Yeah, we're really moving toward what I'll call learning in the flow of work, right? Where all this professional development becomes so integrated into daily workflows that it stops feeling like extra work and starts feeling like enhanced capability. When our employees can access training, get certified, and track their progress all within the systems they already use every day, that's when real transformation's happening for us here at nCino.
Yeah, and for anyone considering a similar transformation, here's my technical advice. Start with the integration strategy first, not your content strategy. The most comprehensive training program in the world Just don't drive adoption if it lives in a system that fights against your users. Get the technical foundation right, and everything else becomes possible.
And from a user experience side, I'll say involve your actual users in every major decision, not just surveys after the fact, but real co-creation sessions. Our biggest wins, like the manager hierarchy views that we're getting from the Workday integration, the ramp up homepage for our new hires, and the ability to mark courses as recommended or required, all came directly from listening to the daily frustrations and brilliant ideas of the people who use our LMS every day. So with that, we left a lot of time, like I said, maybe even more than we thought, for Q&A. So Audrey, I don't know if there's any questions, but we can also pull them up and Alex and I can take them.
Yes, we definitely have some questions. So I'm going to read these aloud if you all want to decide who wants to answer them. But the first question we have is, do you build your exams in Intellum as assessments, and do you have an item bank that you use?
Yeah, absolutely. We do build our exams in Intellum. We don't necessarily have like an item bank per se, but we use the forms feature, and we allow it to, we kind of made a question bank per se, where we put more questions, and then we have it where it only selects 4 of the 5 from this section, 3 of the 5 from that section. So it's not necessarily a bank, but it is like the forms feature in Intellum, where you can have it pull specific, like pull a random number of questions from each section of the exam. I hope that helps.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Okay, another question, Jennifer, I think speaking to what you just mentioned about the collaboration process, and inviting your end users and your learners into the conversation about what changes need to be made. What did that look like? So it's not, surveys at the after the fact, but how did you invite them into that conversation earlier on?
So for our employees, we launched it to them first. And not only did we launch to them first, we had a pilot group of employees who actually gave us feedback before we launched to our employee audience, which is about 1,800, which is the smallest of all 3 of our audiences. So that was another benefit to launch to them first, because it had the least amount of risk. But we didn't even launch to all employees on day 1. We worked with a pilot group during implementation before we even launched to employees. And then some of the feedback from our customer and partner audience, we get a lot of that feedback because we work with those audiences so closely in training. So we have a lot of functional and technical training, not just in e-learning, but in instructor-led. And so the instructors and our team really get a lot of direct feedback from the system administrators and product owners, not just on our product, but on the capabilities that they would like to see within our nCino community and within nCino University Online.
That's awesome. Yeah, you have to know what your learners want in order to provide them the best that they can do. Okay, excuse me. We had a question earlier in the chat from Pam, and Shannon, thanks so much for addressing that. Just for Jennifer and Alex to know. So the question is, content that is shared between the employee portal and customer portal, is it the same content or do you duplicate it per portal?
Yeah, so like 99% of it is the same. We only use our product content in our customer and partner experience. I will say the only thing that we have to duplicate is our certification exams, just because those are paid for our customers and partners. And so we duplicated them to have like a free version rather than having to give out like voucher codes to our employees. So everything else in our platform is all the same, and we just control visibility based off of auto groups in the background. But yeah.
Yes, so all our e-learning is free for all 3 of the audiences. So that is actually the same content, right? You're just pointing it to the 2 different instances.
Mm-hmm.
And then to Alex's point, when we do have, which is mostly our instructor-led training and our certification program that is paid, we do have to duplicate that so that we have the paid version and the unpaid version for those 2 audiences. But content-wise, from the instructional design team, it's the exact same content, same question bank for certification exams, etc.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our questions. Jennifer and Alex, anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up the session and wrap up the day? You two have brought it home for the
I
education.
know, we're
Growth
letting
Summit.
people out for recess early. That is good or bad. We didn't build enough content into our presentation, or we knew we were going last and we didn't want to keep everybody until the end of the day.
No, it was a great presentation, and we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to showcase the wonderful work that you and your team have accomplished over the past year. And we hope that you would continue to share that with us. You are two of many innovators and leaders that we heard from today. So thanks for bringing us home and ending the ELG Summit with us. Um, as we stay on, and if we could just go to, is there one more slide, Jennifer?
I'm looking, no.
No. Okay. So, friends, thank you so much for joining us for the rest of all of today. If you missed any of the sessions, please do not worry. You can revisit them via online. They'll be sent, the recordings will be sent to your inbox. They'll even be uploaded to YouTube. So there's multiple ways for you to access the recordings from today. We just want to thank you so much for being a part of this community. The work you're doing to educate, empower, and engage audiences is really transforming the industry, and we're so proud of the work that you've done, and we're cheering alongside you. So go team. And until next time, we just want to say thank you for spending the day with us, and we can't wait to see you next year and continue seeing the impact that you all are making. So with that, cheers, Jennifer and Alex. Wonderful work, and we'll see you soon.